With Pascal Siakam and the offense sputtering, the Raptors are in an early season losing streak. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Raptors. Rob Wong joined alongside by Mike Ganter and Ryan Wolstat of the Toronto Sun. Guys, we got to begin with the offense. Kevin O'Neill would love this offense that the Raptors are playing right now, trying to keep it under 100 points. And in this day's NBA, that just doesn't work very often. And that's part of why the Raptors have lost their last three. Mike, we'll start with you. What is wrong with the offensive side of the ball?
Well, first off, they're scoring fewer points than anybody in the NBA, so that can't continue. I mean, they've got to figure this out. Darko Rajakovic, the head coach, kind of touched on it last night, and Pirtle did as well. They all this passing, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm fully on board with this. Move the ball, create a better shot. But right now, all their passing is just around the perimeter, and it's useless. Like it doesn't affect it. The defense maybe switches its angle, and that's it. I mean, they don't even move their feet. They're just moving, and it's like, okay, we're at the top of the key, we're at the corner, we're back to the top of the key, we're back to the corner, we're back to the top of the key, and so there's no movement. And Darko he came right at this one last night, and he says, look, the ball's just not getting inside. I mean, we got to get into the paint, force them to do something, force them to move, and then we can create an open shot. I mean, this team is never going to be, as it's currently constituted, a great shooting team because they don't have shooters, or not a lot of them. So they have to create wide open shots. And the best way to do that is to move the ball. But to move the ball, you've got to have it inside and then out, or outside and then in and then back out. And that's what's going to help them. But I don't think it's totally broken. I mean, I don't think they're going to score a ton of points. They're averaging less than 100 now. If they can get up to 105 even with their defense, and their defense is playing very well right now, 105 could get them by. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that bottom line, somebody's got to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, and the stats back up what Mike said. I mean, you'd have to go back to 2014 to see a team averaging fewer points per 100 possessions than these Raptors. I know, yes, it's very early, but as Mike said, you can see they're kind of moving it, but to what end? Like they're first in passes per game so far, but only 15th in assists because for one, no one can shoot except for Dennis Schroeder so far. Apparently, is way ahead of his career average. But also, yeah, they're not getting it inside. They're passing it for the sake of passing it to not get anyone in a good place for it, and it's not working. If you take away Schroeder and Malachi Flynn, surprisingly shooting 50% from three so far, the team's only 28%, which is obviously dead last. I looked it up. They're terrible on drives so far, and that was supposed to be an improvement because that was a weakness of Fred VanVleet, but they're shooting 30% on drives, which is last in the league. Like they just don't they look completely discombobulated. They can't put it in. Like that's as simple as that. So it's gonna take some time. They're gonna get better. They're not gonna be as bad as they've shown, but they do not have the proper personnel, so they're never gonna be great because they just don't have enough shooters. They have you have a,
It's not going to surprise me if Otto Porter Jr. finds his way into the
yeah.
rotation at some point. I mean, that's the one guy on the bench who can shoot. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're waiting for, but maybe at some point he makes an appearance and things get a little bit better.
Yeah, because you start off with you have Jakob Pertl's a complete non-shooter. OG Anunoby's their only good shooter in the starting lineup. It's just not Barnes and Siakam aren't good shooters, and Schroeder is shooting better than average, but it's just not good enough for an NBA in this day and age.
Now, of course, we knew that Pascal Siakam's numbers would probably take a hit with the style of offense the Raptors wanted to play this season, Ryan, but down 8 points from where he was a season ago. How concerned are you with Pascal's play early?
Less after the Portland game, but still, it's not great. It's they're trying to almost neuter him a little bit. Like this is a guy that is one of the great scorers in the NBA. He can score in a variety of ways, even without a lethal 3-point shot. And you're telling him pass the ball immediately, pretty much. And he's a guy that likes to take some time to survey, kind of like DeMar DeRozan did. And you're not letting him do that. So you're basically taking away his advantages. Like they've been good in transition as usual, and Siakam's looking kind of like the old Siakam, the original guy who didn't really do anything except run. And he's been great on the run, but like I said, you're wasting a guy like that if you're just gonna make him pass the ball immediately or get his points on the fast break.
Yeah, I think there was a concerted effort last night to get the ball back into his hands, and I think you're going to see that a little bit more. I still think it's going to be the offense is going to be spread. Don't get me wrong, but I think Pascal and Scotty are going to dominate the ball. a little more than they have. OG would be next in line, obviously, or maybe in line with those other two. But yeah, it's for me, it's just he's got to get used to this. Pascal has never played this way before. I mean, give him credit. He's trying to be a team player. He's trying to come along and do this thing. And I mean, I'm not sure how long they're going to give it before they just tell him, go back to doing what you're good at.
Lastly, guys, we saw that the LA Clippers overnight won, if you want to call it that, the James Harden sweepstakes, acquiring Harden from the Sixers along with PJ Tucker for a boatload of players and some draft picks as well. And if you looked at this roster maybe 5 years ago, you would have thought, wow, you've got Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. But times have changed a little bit. But Mike, overall, how do you think this shapes things for the Clippers moving forward?
I really don't know. I mean, I'm not a big Harden fan. I think he's a ball stopper. I think and a ball stopper in that lineup is not good. Like, don't get that mixed up.